you make of this?
Bizarre. I mean, just a couple of things. He's talking about City's investment. One of the players he mentioned was the player that he let go, Kevin De Bruyne. If we go across to Liverpool, we've got a guy who is ripping it to shreds in Mo Salah, who he let go. And then you got one of his own players that he mentioned in Matic and Lukaku, who he let go. And then had to buy him back again at Man United for a very heavy price. So this really is bizarre.
I watched this 12-minute interview in its entirety, and it's a fantastic view, and I have to say, you come up more confused than when you started. But it makes absolutely no sense. Added to what Craig just said, you also have a player in Paul Pogba who you spend 100 million on. You're not getting the best out of. I think that's down to the coach. You have a player in Alexis Sanchez who, all right, he arrives in a free 12 months ago, 300 grand a week. That's already over £3 million spent. You, by your own admission, haven't been able to get the best out of him. I don't, as well, given that we're still trying to come to terms with Manchester United going out against Sevilla, I don't understand the comparisons with Manchester City over 2 or 7 years, as he continually does. Can Manchester United in any way compare themselves unfavourably to Sevilla over that period of time? Their Champions League history, their performance? No, they can't. And that should be a focus. The league is done and dusted. No, right? We've heard all the excuses about City and why they're so much better than you. Nobody can understand or get a reason as to why Sevilla come to Old Trafford and beat you. Never mind Pogba, never mind Sterling and De Bruyne. Ben Yedder scored 2. That's the focus. That is what you need to explain. And I don't think, as confusing as it was, he smoothed over those cracks.
Jules, he's gone mad, hasn't he? Lost it.
I think what he said after the Sevilla game was insulting to the fans and to the club. I think what he said today is insulting to the fans and to the club and to his own players as well, basically comparing them, a lot of them, to what City have and saying, look, they're great and they were there when the current coach arrived. Look what I had when I arrived and they're dreadful. And again, he's deflecting his own failure and blaming it on other people. Like before United were rubbish in Europe, which is something he said that we didn't show just now. So it's okay if we lost now against Sevilla because before they didn't do much better. Who says that? Who does that? You failed. You failed. Whatever happened before doesn't matter. You failed this season in Europe, and like I said, you were beaten by Ben Yedder.
Just quickly to what Julian was saying there. He's basically, in a nutshell, just saying, how the hell do you expect me to work with this? That's what he's saying. How do you expect me to work with this? Now, as a player, I'm telling you, you're taking note of this and you're going, right, okay, we'll see about that.
Gab, what's happening here?
There was a time when Mourinho was known as the great communicator in Spain, in Italy, his first time round at Chelsea, because he'd come up with these things that were inspiring and concise and everybody understood straight away, and mediatically he'd beat everybody. The last 2 times he's spoken in public, he's made no sense. It hasn't worked. It's boomeranged against him. You could pick so many holes as part of this. I'm not going to go through that. What I will mention is when he talked about the great players he'll be leaving behind to the guy afterwards. He doesn't mention Pogba. He mentions 3 guys, one of whom, as he points out, wasn't signed by him, but was De Gea, who came years before. Another one, Matic, is 30 years old, and so I think turns 30 this summer. There's just so much confusion. And the best part is then he goes and he talks about how he and Mr. Woodward are on the same page and they're working so well together. Who do you think signed all these bad players who you don't like? It was Ed Woodward, right? David Moyes, and then later on to Van Gaal. So now you're saying, oh, he's wonderful, we're all on the same page. That doesn't bode well. I think he does have some valid points to make, but this is just a terrible way to go about doing it, and they got lost among all the contradictions and all the other stuff he came up with.